Jenny Maurer is not new to UCF, has been here for a while, but now back as a head coach. But this is different than when you go to a place where you're a head coach. You've been part of the culture here for a while, but now these are going to be not just your fingerprints, but your arms wrapped around this program. What's that like to you?
Well, it's great. Like you said, it's good to be back, in this position. It's a comfortable place, but at the same time, it's great to be able to stay with the place that I've been at for the last 7 years, helping assemble the team. So that's near and dear to my heart. But the amount of support and the people here are just second to none. And so it's great to feel like our team is surrounded by so many people taking care of us and looking out for us and letting us do our thing.
What's it been like to see this thing be built? This is, 5 years of winning a regular season or conference tournament championship, and yet it's a new challenge for a league, which I'm going to get into in a second. But what's that like where standards go in this way, and now you want to make it keep going that way?
Yeah, well, essentially, I left a head coaching job because of the vision that Coach Dagenet had, in addition to the entire athletic department. At the time, Danny White, shared the vision of what he believed UCF athletics could be. And you were just starting to see the very tip of the iceberg starting to get in place. So I jumped on that vision because when you see an athletic department supporting volleyball, not just the volleyball team and program, there's something special there. So it's been just such a wonderful place to be, feeling that not having to say no to us. It's how can we get there? How can we help you? How can we help you accomplish your goals? And doing that for all the sports across the board. That was pretty special. And so now, and Todd had shared with me at the time, actually, the vision of potentially being in a Power 5. That was back in 2016. So to see it actually come to fruition, we've been setting ourselves up there as a program. Todd was scheduling accordingly in that preseason and playing those Power 5s. So on one hand, it's not really unfamiliar territory for us because we've been putting ourselves in that position to be now ready for this league, not just to limp into it as a lot of people suspected.
This dynasty run, as you oversaw recruiting, you saw it being built, and some will look and go, it's a much different roster. You do bring back some experience, but as you said, you don't view it as a rebuild. You view it as adding pieces to the growing program. Explain a little bit more about that.
Well, I was fortunate to be a part of a national championship program as an athlete, and so that's something that my college coach, Terry Clements, always talked about. We don't rebuild, we reload. And that's really, I think, very similar here is, of course you're always going to graduate players. So you're going to be different no matter what. Even when Jordan Pingle, our lone senior, graduated, we were still a very different team the next year. And that was one player different, really. So for us, knowing that we have to battle in the Big 12 day in and day out, the physicality had to definitely change a little bit more. We've had some size, but now we have a lot more than we've ever had. But I'm really also excited about the depth that we have. We have a blend of age and veteran experience combined with some new faces, but I think our overall athleticism has continued to increase.
You talk about the Big 12. So Texas is number one. Take a look down at the rest of the top 25. Baylor's 15. But here's some of the newcomers of BYU and Houston. So it's not like, you're not familiar. So it's a great league. What's the biggest challenge you see in what might be a deeper league than where you've been playing before?
Correct. That's lends itself to the physicality I was talking about. We have to be able to endure day in and day out, not just the 4 weeks of preseason, but the next 5 months. And so I think both the physicality of the athletes as well as then the depth is super important for us. So it's going to take some getting used to, especially a different schedule where you're playing the same team back to back. I see that as an advantage rather than having to prepare for two different teams over the course of 3 days. I like the look of that, and then sometimes we'll have single matches. So the plus of that is you're only preparing for one team. The challenge of that is you only get one shot or one crack at them. So it'll be some getting used to, but competitors adjust.
For those that may not know, let's go back a little bit so that people can learn about you. From St. Louis, okay? If you're watching this, one of us has been in more television commercials than the other, and I'm not the answer to that question. He is the answer to the question. So the rising young star of Jenny Maurer, Tell me about the days of voiceovers and TV commercials and all that stuff.
You heard about that?
Yes.
Yes. So, yes, I was a child actress. It happened by accident where my mom took me to get some pictures, and they thought apparently at the age of 4 years old I was photogenic and I took direction well, I guess. So they told my mom to send them into a talent agency where I landed my first 3 national McDonald's commercials at 5 years old. So did that, and then joined with a talent agency after that, and the rest is history. I did TV, radio, industrial films. It was a great experience.
A 5-star recruit at 4 years old. So how'd volleyball come about?
So I played every sport. I played everything kind of growing up, and when I was in middle school, some people had approached my mom, who was then my 8th grade coach, and said she should try out for a club team, and that was my first tryout really for a travel team, and I made it and continued to play it. I played a couple other sports, did some theater as well in high school because I couldn't get that acting bug out of my system. But then, you know, when the recruiting process started getting contacted by schools, and kind of my passion really narrowed it down. And by that point, by junior, senior year, I was just playing volleyball. And as far as sports went, I was still keeping busy with theater. And yeah, I think I found the best of both worlds when Terry Clemens started recruiting me, because they were winning national championships. I thought I did want to go far away from home and landed about 15 minutes from home, but it was kind of the best of everything for me because it was a top-notch academic school, which was important to me. I had visions of becoming a doctor, which clearly that didn't happen, but it was a great medical school, great program, and obviously they were winning a lot, so it met my competitive spirit as much as my academic goals.
Fast forward now. What do you think the image is, the reputation of UCF volleyball? What do you want it to continue to grow to be?
Well, I think it fits in very well with UCF athletics in general. We've been the new kids on the block, you know, as a university, as much as we have an athletics program at the Division I level. And so we've always been discounted. You know, we've kind of had that chip on our shoulder for a long time. We like being the underdogs. We're fine with that. I guess for the last couple of years, we've also been the targeted, you know, after winning a couple conference championships. But I think, you know, for us is we've got a lot to prove, we think, to ourselves as much as to anybody else. So there's a lot of noise out there, and all we're trying to do is just stay focused on us, because I think our goals are, you know, as high as anybody's.
This place, the venue's also developed a reputation. We've sold the most tickets before the year starts and everything. It's a tremendous atmosphere. So for those that haven't yet experienced a match here, what are they missing?
Oh, you know, I love nothing more than when people come for the first time, and every time they said, I just bought season tickets. I can't wait to come back. I had no idea. You know, it's a great volleyball environment. You know, you've got people standing along the balconies and cheering us on. You've got the seats filled, especially when the band comes. They're so incredibly loud, and we love it. It's just electric in here. We love that it's our home. It's a great place to play. It's a hard place to play if you're the opponent. And I think the energy is just completely electric.
What do you really like about this team as you embark on a new season?
I know this sounds kind of cliche, but they love each other. They really, really understand that it's about the team. You know, they're duking it out in practice, and everybody's trying to vie for court time, right? But they're on the sidelines helping each other out, because we want to be our best competition, so that when we do face somebody else through the net, we're prepared. So I think they just understand the holistic concept of team, you know, first, and that's, I think, the best teams, the most high-achieving teams are the ones that take care and look out for one another, and they're impenetrable. They can't be shook because they're looking out for each other, and they know. I think part of what gives each other confidence is that they know everybody has their back.
It's a new era for UCF sports all around, and a new era for UCF as well. Jenny Maurer, now the head coach of UCF Volleyball, and a new season upon us. Enjoy it. Go Knights. Charge on.